Okay, we are here at the Coken Woodford Glen Speedway for the 2021 Modified Championship. I'm your host, Aaron.
And I'm Vince, and it's a beautiful sunny day here. We have 30 of the best modified drivers here that are ready to race for the New Zealand title. Here with 18C. How are you doing tonight, mate? You are, I don't know why I'm asking you how you're doing tonight. I mean, you are leading. You are tied in first place on 25 points. How does it feel to be up there with the best of the best?
Well, I'm a bit more nervous tonight. I come in last night with no expectations, but now I've got a bit to hold up to. But we'll see how we go with our backgrids tonight, so we'll see. That's
right. We keep coming over here and shoving the camera in your face, but you bring it upon yourself, mate. You won 2 heats last night, so you're doing an excellent job. People are starting to realise who you are, and they're just wanting to see you race. How does it feel to get a bit of fanfare behind you?
Yeah, the fan base has definitely kicked up a lot this weekend. I've sold out all my stickers already and I had 250 of them, so we're on it. So yeah.
So it's a profitable business being in the winning business.
Oh, no, because they're free, but yeah, the t-shirt's going all right, yeah.
Sweet, mate. Oh, that's excellent. Well, I hope you go well tonight. You placed very well for an excellent finish, but we'll pop over now. I believe Aaron has another driver with him, so thanks very much for joining me. I'm sure we'll speak to you again later tonight, but we'll pop over to you, Aaron.
Okay, we have got the 67S of Bunter Pierce here, mate, former 2-time New Zealand champion. You're down here in Woodford Glen, here to give it a crack. You had a pretty successful night last night. Now I know, Bunter, we've talked quite a few times, but for the fans, from a setup point of view, you like to get in there and just go and give it a crack, but obviously it's a combination of experience and technique. So tell us how you're feeling about tonight.
To be fair, I'm a bit, nervous is not the word, but the track's a lot different than what it's been in the past. We've raced here a lot over the years and you sort of think you know it, but to be honest, we struggled a lot last night with setup. We got it right at the end, but now it's another night and another day of sun, and is it or isn't it going to be good or bad? So yeah, hey, you just got to get out there and give it a crack. Once you're out there, you've got what you got and you've got to drive it, whether it's good, bad or otherwise, so you've got to use the throttle or the brakes a bit more than you normally would. So yeah, hey, it'll be what it'll be.
Yep. So they tell me not only do you have the best team, you have the best looking team. So tell me a little bit about who helps you out with your car, mate.
I think they're just the biggest drinkers out of everyone, to be fair, but I've got 2 ex-drivers, so Merv Julian, he's an ex-1NZ way back in the 80s, and Mark Dixon, who's had his fair share of success too, so makes my job heaps easier having 2 guys that know what they're doing, so I'm pretty fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. And Stratford, a big supporter of the modified class. You guys just absolutely love these things up there. Your fans love them up there. I'm sure you've got a lot of fans up home in Stratford watching out for you guys, hopefully watching this live stream.
Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for everyone. We've had a few phone calls today from home. So, yeah, no, it's good. It's good to have fans back there, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's always good to have that hometown support, mate. But look, it's getting close to the time where all of this is happening. Finals night. Bunter, all the best for tonight, and we might see you a little bit later on, maybe on the podium. What do you reckon?
Cheers, mate. I hope you're right, and I look forward to talking to you, buddy.
Okay, I'm here with 54 GM Steve Thompson. Steve, not a great start to your New Zealand Championships last night. You didn't finish a couple of times, I believe. Can you talk us through what happened?
No, so we had full intentions of doing really well, but we had a wheel centre snap in half, so that ended that, just about tipped it up. And then that damaged the diff on the way through, which for the second race broke a centre bolt, which then the diff ended up in the seat. So that was the second heat, and then the last heat, obviously the drive shaft had a vibration, so we had to pull out. But we had a big day today, bolting all the new stuff on. Thanks to the Edge, they had all the parts, so it worked out good. Yeah, so what we'll work on is those 2 heats. We've got 2 rear draws today, so we'll work on that, try and pick off some cars, and then we'll do the repecharge. And have it set up for the repecharge to try and be in the top 2, and then hang off the back for the feature in the 30. But that's hoping if this old girl holds together,
Well, I know that the skill is definitely there because you have been a New Zealand champion before, so I'm sure you'll pull something out of the bag today and put on a good show. So thanks very much for having a chat to us. Good luck for the rest of the night. I'm sure we'll have a chat to you again.
As we head out for Heat 11 of the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Champs, the grids will be on the front row. Hayden Corbett, the 22 car. To the outside of him, Mike Gurley. Now he's going to want to bank some points tonight.
He really needs to.
Jason Scott in the 88T car. We saw that thing having real issues with the brakes last night. He'll be in the second row, but to the outside of him will be Barry Hunter in the 53H. John Jackson, 71S with the 3NZ Luke Brown. And then we move to the next row with Jamie Fox, the 11A, with Nathan Astle to the outside. Nathan having a blinder in one race there. Well, I shouldn't say surprise, it's not fair to Jacob, but the 18C car, Jacob Mitchell, with Ian White beside him off the back. Mitchell really was the surprise package last night. He caught a lot of people napping, and that car was dialed in.
All right, Brian's got the green ready. The chalk dust is on turn 1. And turn 4, really. And we're away. And Mike Goulet, not surprisingly, gasses it and gets a little bit of a jump on the 22 of Corbett. Jason Scott having a good start there as well, but Luke Brown's up into 4th place now. He's got the 71 on his tail. Everyone's got down the back straight. Okay, there's a little bit of contact there as Astle goes to the back of the 53 of Hunter. But coming round Enviro Waste and out through turn 1 and 2, we've got more contact down the front straight there. The 32 of White, was that with the 10 of Astle? I think it was. Yep. Out front, Mike Goulet's already opened up about 6 or 7 car lengths, and the 3NZ of Luke Brown has moved into 2nd place. Watch that car go. The 22 of Corbett, he's not hanging around, but he's back in 3rd place now, holding off the 88 of Scott. Then we go back to the 71 machine that's having a good battle with the 11 of Jamie Fox, and of course the last night's top performer, you might say, the 18 of Jacob Mitchell in this heat as well. That's a real quality group you've got battling out for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place there in the middle of this pack. Mike Goulet, he seems to have recovered the form of earlier in the season. He's gone out front. Luke Brown, well, we always know he's fast. He's going to solid 2nd place. Corbett for the moment is holding on to 3rd, but that battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th behind him between Jamie Fox, Jason Scott, Jacko and the Jacob Mitchell car, that's a really interesting one to watch. They're taking different lines, they're looking for mistakes, they're looking for grip on the track all the time, racing each other. Mitchell up the inside of Fox there. Was there a little bit of contact on the 71? Possibly not, he may have backed out of it. Jacko just holding off Mitchell at the moment. Mitchell's got the inside line if he's brave enough to commit to it. He brakes heavily though. Out front, Scott possibly holding these guys up, but he's got the track position. They've got to go round him, and he's making it hard for them. Mitchell's the one making the moves at the moment. He's putting distance between himself, Jacko and Fox, and now the 10 of Astle coming to join this battle as well. I've even forgotten what's happening out front of this race. Oh, that's right, Mike Goulet down the back straight and into Enviro Waste turn with Luke Brown very gradually catching him. But Goulet now half a lap ahead of the 4th placed car, which is Jacob Mitchell in the 18C. He's got ahead of Scott, and he's going to chase down the 22 of Corbett. Scott's leading the 71 of Jackson and the 11 of Fox. Astle can't really make any impact on Fox and Jackson. They're jinking it out down the back straight. Oh, the suggestion of contact there as they went past the Value Cars grandstand. They both backed out of it. It's cost them a little bit of track time. It's given the 88T machine a bit more breathing space. It's given Nathan Astle the hope of making a pass, but he hasn't quite got what it takes, I think. And Mike Goulet coming around onto the back of the rearmost car. That's the 32 of Ian White. Did Jason Scott clip the wall there coming out of turn 4? It looked like he might have done. Fox has got through on Jackson. And here comes Mitchell. We're in the white zone now as Goulet's streaking round the back straight. Can Mitchell put a pass on the 22 to make another point? I think he's going to do it. He's going to go around the outside. He's going to go very, very deep. Goulet's going to take the win. He gets that easily enough. Mitchell goes past on the back straight. 2nd place now, the 3NZ of Luke Brown. And Mitchell gets bunted by the 22 of Hayden Corbett, but he takes 3rd place. That was an exciting race.
That was. Okay, so we can officially say the track has now exited the stadium. It is dusted.
Indeed.
And welcome race fans to 27 degrees for 6 hours, 6 or 8 hours today does the clay. But out of all of that, Mike Gurley taking away the race win, he needed to do that. There was Luke Brown capitalising it being near the front. He did what he needed. The one who made them, and I don't mean to be condescending to some of the drivers, the one who made them look silly, Jacob Mitchell.
1NZ, Brad Lane, you won that first heat. Good to see you're on form again tonight. How did it feel out there?
Yeah, obviously the track would have caught a few people out in our race, and obviously this race just been out. Before the meeting, obviously it looked quite good and sticky. But then you go there, blow the top off in a couple of laps, and it was pretty hard work. So we just had to slow the pace up a bit and just make sure that we made it to the finish in the position that we were in.
Yeah, no, I thought I saw you preserving the car there, so I thought that might be the case. But you were on 23 points, now you're on 33 points, so definitely well in front. What's it going to be like in this next heat? You're going to hold back? You're going to go for the front row in the feature final? What happens now?
Yeah, well, obviously just watching that last race, old young Jacob Mitchell's done another stellar job of passing cars, so we're off grid three. So we're just going to try and make our way to the front, really, to try and get a front row grid for the feature. So and now it's probably a good time to start pushing, because obviously you're going to have to do that tonight in the 30 laps. So we'll sort of see what the car's got and then make a few changes and stuff. We had a bent right rear rim after last night, which we didn't know until that first race when we had a big vibration. So another thing why we took it a little bit easy, but yeah. So we'll see how we go when we get out there. Obviously we're going to tighten the car up a bit now and then.
Next up, we have Steve Lennon here. Here's a promoter for the Coken Woodford Glen Speedway, mate. What an awesome event we've got going here. It's finally finals night.
Yeah, take two after being in level 2. We were in level 1 and we're racing, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. The crowd's building nicely. Our pre-sales have been awesome. It's going to be an awesome night. Can't wait.
Magic, mate. And you've put on the great Canterbury weather. We've got a bit of warmth, but we've got a bit of cloud cover, so everyone's not frying. So, geez, these conditions are perfect, mate.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic, especially for the fans. Maybe not so much for the poor guys in the modifieds in particular with their 3-layer suits, but I'd say the night will cool down a bit later on as it did last night, and obviously the good side about that, apart from this heat, later on when it cools down, a bit of dew comes up and the track should hopefully stay as good as it did last night. Should be awesome. Absolutely.
And look, we've had a wonderful season here at Coken Woodford Glen. Given the fact that everyone's been dealing with COVID, obviously we're pretty strong supporters of the modified, so we've been able to enjoy the Canterbury champs down here, the South Island champs, but you guys have had some other great events with the Battle of the Stocks. Man, your team has done a really good job putting all of this together.
Yeah, we have, and team's the key there, Aaron, like you know that. We have got an awesome team here. There's not just me as the promoter. I'm just part of the one guy that does a lot of the organising. I've got a really good team behind me, all of our staff, our volunteers, and we've had some adversity this year. Obviously, as you're aware, the level change, meaning we didn't decide to run that first original date of 19th and 20th of Feb. Then we lost our street stock state of origin that was scheduled for March the 6th, also to COVID. So, but we planned for this. We, after last year, we identified, put some processes in place that we knew what we were going to do if the need arose, and we've actually done a pretty good job, I think, and yeah, we're stoked. We've had a really good year so far.
Yeah, well, you guys have definitely done a good job, and I know on behalf of the modifieds community that decision around the 19th and 20th of February, it was a very difficult decision to make, but the bottom line is we just wouldn't have been able to get every competitor here. Now look at what we've got. We've got 30 of the best in the country. We've had a great night of qualifying. Now we're going into the finals night, and I think we've got around about 28 cars back here tonight to have a really good crack at it. It's going to be absolutely awesome, and I'm sure your team are going to put on a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. You're dead right. I think there's the quality's really good. Like, as we know, this is probably the biggest field of modifieds at a New Zealand Championship in a very, very long time, if not history. It's really good for the class. It's really positive. The class is showing some good growth. And to have the calibre drivers here that we have got this weekend is awesome. And it's testament to those guys, like you say. Only 28 cars left running after losing only 2 cars is pretty damn good. One of them was to an accident, pretty bad accident. So just shows the level of driving and the respect that those drivers have for each other. They're a good group, and like you say, postponing it to allow everyone the opportunity to make it here was by far the best choice we made.
All right, I am here with the president of the club, Ivan. Ivan, how has this weekend been going for you so far?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a wee bit of pressure, but we've got a good team behind us, and we've had this a plan for a while now because we got postponed for our initial running of it, but we had everything in place. Yeah, it's going to be busy, but it's going to be a great night.
Excellent. Have you been enjoying the modified action so far? Because it's been a couple of years since you had the New Zealand national title for the modifieds here. What's your take on this class, especially in Canterbury, where it is probably the biggest in the country?
yeah, we've had some really good growth in the class down here, and we've got some real young drivers coming through, some hot shots from karting and that. So yeah, we're seeing good modified racing week in, week out. We're lucky, we're fielding 15 cars, 12 to 15 cars quite on a regular basis, where a lot of tracks are struggling to do that.
That's right. And what do you think your secret is to having this many modifieds? Because I know other tracks do struggle sometimes even to get a meeting in place. The numbers have really lifted, but what's the secret of Woodford Glen's big turnout for modifieds? What do you reckon?
Yeah, that's a hard one. It's like any class, isn't it? They have their ups and downs, but I think the young fellas coming through, they just want to get into a modified, a bit different to a sprint car. They could go and travel other places. It's one of those hard ones, and it's just like anything. The super stocks take a dive, or the street stocks take a dive, and then they come back up again. But yeah, we've been lucky that the modifieds have picked up for the last couple of seasons.
Excellent. Yeah, I know Jacob Mitchell, who's come from go-karts. He's in the 18C. He's doing really well this weekend. He's surprising a lot of people. He's probably not surprising his family because they know how good he is, but doing excellent job. So those karting guys coming through, definitely good. What's your role tonight? Because you're not just you have quite a few roles throughout the night that you have to do, including some commentary. So what does this night consist for you?
Yeah, well, I'll be doing some commentary. I look after the super stocks and stock cars and help with the street stocks and that. I'll be running around doing presidential stuff and helping out wherever I can and doing the odd interview with you guys.
So presidential stuff, that's not like smoking cigars and drinking whiskey or anything?
No, we don't get that luxury. No, it might be the toilets need toilet paper or something like that. But hey, we just dig in and get it done. We want to put on a great event and find a worthy New Zealand champion at the end of it.
Excellent. Well, it's turned out to be a great weekend so far, and all the action is going to be happening tonight at the Garage 16 New Zealand Modified Championship.
And we're out with Heat 12 of the New Zealand Modified Champs, courtesy of Garage 16 here at Koken, Woodford Glen. And the front row will consist of Blair McPhee, the 2NZ, to the outside of him, Kevin Bannon, the 49, the Rocket Man, 99C of Ralph Godwin, will have on the outside of him the 69 of Andrew Naven. Then we move back to the third row of Haig, who had a shocker last night, blew the torque tube, with Newton Gorge on the outside of him in the 21S, Gary Lennon in the 9C, to the outside of him the 5 of Parkinson. And the final row will have Jason Cale in the 12S and Atama Holland, who had a great performance in his final race last night.
He did, he really got on top of it, didn't he?
In the starter's hands. Ban is our pace setter. He will have McPhee on the inside. We're in the starter's hands. Brian's got the flag, drops the flag. We are racing, and it's fairly even in the front row, but McPhee just sets the 2NZ in there. He's got good track position. He's going to pull away here, and it's worked nicely. He's kept it clean. This is all he needs to do. He doesn't need to burn tyres out, doesn't need to over-rev the car. The Rocket Man up the inside in the 99. Right, the spitroast.com car sets through into the second place spot. He'll want to just move forward on the HPE 49. Newton Gorge. Seen what Ralph Godwin did, but Gorge's car just seems a little bit tight through 3 and 4. As Naven up the inside on him, or is he? Naven puts the car very sideways at 1. Newt just gets a little bit of a move forward. The 9 of Lennon, gets very close to Parky. Parky backs out of it. Lennon's making some forward movement out in front. McPhee clocks down another lap. Back to Godwin. The 2 Lovelady chassis just opening up over Kevin Band as the 21 car looks to the outside. The battle is all around that poor 49 machine, the horsepower heads car of Kevin Band. Newt's to the outside. Gary Lennon looks up the inside of Naven. He does the slide through, gets through under brakes. In fact, I thought Gary was going to do the big slide job, but he got on the brakes a lot earlier than I thought. And Parky's looking to do the same. Gorge out high and wide through 3 and 4, through Enviro Waste, out in front, the CNM car, 2NZ, just opening up his lead over 99 of Godwin. The battle is for third. Ban goes into Enviro Waste. The 21 car of Gorge very shortly, in fact I'd say within this lap, he's going to be on the threat of Lennon. Lennon sticks the nose up the inside of the 21 car into 1.
Lennon is a man on a mission at the moment.
Lennon's got to maximise these points. Newt is sort of stuck. He can't go around the outside of Ban on Enviro Waste, and this is where the 9 car pops up the inside. And it's this easy. Absolutely exposed here. Smoke billowing out of the back of the 59 car of Haig. Hopefully he'll be looking at his gauges. It is a battle for third. Band's got the position. Everyone behind him is just chattering on that nerve bar.
And Gary Lennon gets through. He'll be able to go outside now.
He is on the outside and he's opened the door a little bit for Newt. Smoke still billowing out of the back of the 59 car. Ban has got where he knows where he needs to race, and he's being consistent about it. He's in the same spot as Lennon's decided, right, we're going to the outside. We know he likes to go where the brave and the wild men play. Don't think there's a lot of drive up there, but he'll also want to not open the door for the 21 of Newton Gorge. McPhee's gone. He'll be back in the pits getting chips and the hot dog.
Absolutely.
Back to Godwin as Lennon takes that third spot. He hasn't got it fully, but Ban just goes in a bit hard at one, just scrubs off some speed. Lennon's now got it. White flag is out for McPhee. As we look at Godwin, Lennon, the track has slicked big time. This will catch a lot of guys out. The smoke stopped coming off the 59 car as the 5GM car of Parky's crept up the inside of Newton Gorge. We look out of Envirowaste. The checker is out for McPhee. He will take the race win, followed by Ralph Godwin. Gary Lennon will come home for third, rolls it across the start-finish line. Back to Kevin Ban, Brandon Parkinson, Newton Gorge. Haig, somehow out of all of that, brings the car home, and it's still moving.
So Blair McPhee did what he had to do, did what we expected he would do, and did what form and pedigree suggested he should do, which is to win that race and win it handsomely by 3.3 seconds ahead of Ralph Godwin. Godwin came through really strongly, and he'll be pleased with that. Good points there for him. Gary Lennon, absolutely the man on the mission. Kevin Ban did everything he could. I think in the end Newton Gorge had the faster car, but he couldn't get round Kevin Ban, and in the end paid the price for it as Parkinson got through on him. So that's quite interesting. So Barry's very quick on these points. My God, who needs a computer when we've got Barry Brown in the commentary box? So at the moment, the way he sees it, it's a three-way tie at the top. Is that what the points tell you on the front of your screen there?
Yes, it does.
McPhee,
it says McPhee, Brown, Pearce.
and Pearce are tied on 34 points. And then we go one back to Mitchell and the one instead of Brad Lane on 33. The top 16 automatically go through to the final, and the rest go into the rapid charge, of which 4 cars will go through to make a 20-car final.
It's going to be very, very hard how you set your car for this 30-lap final. When the track is gone, it's slicked. It's gone very, very slick. It is smooth, it is fast. However, once you have to start looking at a setup for a 30-lap race, which is only going to get slicker and slicker, it's going to prove to be a real challenge.
All right, guys, so all the drivers have had 3 heats tonight so far. The one heat tonight so far, so they've got 1 each left, and the points are looking amazing. So, in the first place, we have Blair McPhee, 2 NZ. We have 3 NZ, Luke Brown, and Bunter Pearce, 67S. They're all on 34 points. Now, Blair is starting from grid 4, so he's going to have an excellent chance at starting off the front of the grid for the feature final. And Luke as well, he's starting from grid number 5, so he's going to have a decent chance of getting towards the front of the feature final. Now Bunter, he's starting off grid 8, so he's got a bit of work to do to make sure that he gets himself up a decent position, but I think Bunter might be pretty safe unless he has a catastrophe in the next race. Now tied after that, only 1 point behind the lead, Jacob Mitchell. A standout performance so far from this 18-year-old, 18C, only second season in a modified, only 1 point off the lead, and he's starting on grid 5. So he has a really good chance of getting up there and potentially getting on the podium. And Brad Lane, the 1NZ, is tied up with Jacob Mitchell, just 1 point behind the lead, and he's starting from grid 3. So he's going to be able to, you'd imagine, hopefully get into first place for his sake, and he'll be off a good position for the feature final. So it's shaping up to be a great feature final. Don't go away. We've got some rapid charges after these next 3 heats. Do you want to add anything, Aaron?
Start cars, please.
All right. Let's go watch some racing.
Pretty important last round of heats for the New Zealand Modified Championship, courtesy of Garage 16 Media. And there's a lot of drivers who need to make things happen in this set of races, Jared.
And just for those of you watching the stream at home, you'll be clear that clearly hot dogs are too cheap here at Coke and Woodford Glen. By the way, that one was just disregarded and treated.
Disappearing.
Now,
And now let's talk about that 10 car, the little
Yes.
the little blue modified that's going around ahead of the main pack there. That was
modified.
the winner of the first ever New Zealand Modified Championship held in the 77-78 season at Paradise Valley in Rotorua. And it was built and raced by Ross Baker. It's now owned by Miles Forsey, and he's restored it to the same condition that was in when it won that New Zealand title. So it's absolutely fantastic to have that very important piece of modified history here at Woodford Glen for this particular title.
And to be fair, that's when they were real race cars, the modified sportsmen.
Yeah.
In the days. As we watch the head around the Heat 13, the front row is going to have Jason Scott there by himself because the 82C, this was one of the starts he needed. Steve Sinclair would have been on the outside, but he's not. Then we move back to Brandon. Oh, sorry, the 5C. Bailey Patterson. Bailey Patterson's getting the 5GM confused here for a second. And the Sandra Massey 11C to the outside. Third row will have the 3NZ Luke Brown with Nathan Astle on the 10C to the outside. Ian White 32 GM will be there in the fourth row with Bunter Pierce in the 67S. The final grid will consist of the 54 GM of Thompson and Jacko on the back in the 71S. This is going to be interesting because there are some serious point getters at the back half of this field.
Yeah.
And this is where it becomes important not to wreck your gear.
Absolutely, and look, this is exactly what you were talking about earlier, Jared. You've got two races here. You've got the guys who are going to qualify, and it's just a question of where, and the guys who are really struggling to qualify and need a good performance to cement that. So you've got Thompson off the back, and he's had a mare of a night last night. He really needs good points from this race. He's got to make passes. He's got to make up places. And yet you've got Luke Brown there sitting in the middle. He's well placed on points, doesn't need to worry about not qualifying, but passing one or two cars could make the difference between being on the front row or being back on the 6th or 7th row of this grid. That's how tight it is at the top. So Luke Brown's got to think, car preservation or do I pass? Whereas Tomo, he's just got to go for it.
Now, for those of you at home on the stream, you're watching the drone footage of the track at the moment, and it highlights how open and flowing turns 1 and 2 are. And as we move down the back straight past our grandstand, the Valley Cars Warehouse grandstand, we move down to Enviro Waste. You see how much tighter the Kaiapoi end of the track is. That is, whilst the modifieds themselves can carry the momentum through, where they cross that white line is actually the widest part of the track. But it's a head spin. It's really obvious when you're above it. When you're on the track, all you see is wall coming at you. Yeah. So it is a big headspace game. But of course, 1 and 2, the track's changed from what it was last night. This is going to be an interesting race, Tony. It's half a lap and we're going to be into this.
Absolutely. So keep your eye on the back there. The 71 and 54 off the back. They're bound to make some progress through. Bunter Pierce in the middle there with the 67. The 3 of Luke Brown in the middle of the pack too. He's going to want to get to the front early on. Brian's got the green. We're about to get a race start. We're into the final round of heats for the New Zealand Modified Championship, and away we go. Jason Scott off the front pilots that 88T car to the first place at the moment. Bailey Patterson in the 5 holding off the 3 of Luke Brown. We've got some contact further back. 32 and 11 have come together and come to a halt on the back straight. That'll be yellow.
To be honest, on that... Jason Scott just got a hongy on the rear Nerf bar from the 5 car. It was a bit of a shocking start. Jason Scott there was on the front row. Bailey Patterson was right behind him. They were together, but Jason moved the car width up, and it basically looked like Bailey had already ducked to the inside. He hadn't. It was just the car in front moved. As we're going to actually get everybody re-gridded, and I was half expecting a yellow light anyway. But out of all of that, we got Cassandra in the 11 car just gets climbed into by Ian White in the 32. Bunter moves to the outside, and Astor was on further out. That could have turned into something a whole lot worse, and Jacko just saw the gap down below.
Yeah, Bunter and Astor may have actually touched there as they were trying to avoid what was happening in front of them, but they've got away with it. They backed out, they got away with it.
To be fair, that start did work well for Luke Brown, though. He did benefit from that as we go back under starters' orders.
So we'll have another go, see if we can get it right this time round. So Jason Scott, we know he's going to probably streak away from the second row, but it's what happens behind him that's significant. There we go, we're green, we're racing, Jason Scott's away. Bailey Patterson chasing him in. A little bit more careful and cautious, I think, all of them there. Massey and the 3NZ of Luke as well. Luke Brown, he's alongside the 5, trying to make the pass up the inside as we go into Enviroways turn. Bailey Patterson gives him plenty of room. He's got the power.
Sandra
he takes over second place.
around.
And thanks, I didn't see that. You're quite right. The 11 car and 10 car have had a tangle.
Yeah, it started in front of the Value Cars Warehouse grandstand. Astle had an awesome run down the back straight. Cassandra moved up on the track, but is significantly slower than the 10 car. He nerfed her going down the back straight. She unsettled. They went to the corner as we watched the replay, and Astle just ran straight into the back of Cassandra as she was slightly crossed up.
So these are two drivers who...
Here's the first contact there, which unsettles the 11 car as we watch the replay courtesy of the pits. But I tell you, the person who was lucky to get away with it was actually Jacko.
71, yeah, it was.
He got clipped on the way through, but look, if you're going to sideswipe a gorge car, you better have a strong car.
So the 10 and 11 cars are two of the cars that are on the cusp of making the final of their own right without having to go through the repechage.
Well, wouldn't be anything worse than what here as directors tell us.
Oh, true. All right, so back down the back straight. The flags are in, the lights are out. We should get going again this time. All cars are still mobile. Let's have another go at starting this race, getting this final round of heats underway. Jason Scott leads away Bailey Patterson, the 3NZ of Luke Brown there, already up to second place. Bunter Pearce not wasting any time on that restart. He's into third now, and a little bit more carefully, the 10 of Nathan Astle gets past the 11 of Cassandra Massey at the back of the field. So a lap down for the 88 car, and he's under a lot of pressure. The Taranaki Tornado, Richard Bunter Pearce there, nipping at the heels of the 3NZ. 3NZ probably got a slight power advantage on the 88 car, but unable to use it at the moment as Jason Scott's using every trick in the book to maintain his first place. Luke goes high, he ducks down low. Scott's got the line covered. Unless Luke's got fantastic traction out of 2, he does actually get pretty good traction, but not enough to get past on the back straight. This is a good battle for the lead here. Luke Brown just sitting back slightly. He's going to wait and see just what the 88 car does. Meantime, Ian White's found an extra turn of speed and's putting a bit of pressure on the 67 car, who's falling back into the grips of White and the 71 of Jacko. Bunter Pearce definitely dropped off the pace there after that first couple of hectic laps. So out front, Scott opens the door for the 3NZ car on the inside. Scott's got the slingshot off 2, but 3's got the power and he's going to get his nose in front going into Envirowaste. I don't think Jason Scott can do this round the outside of Envirowaste. He can't. He has to yield. So Luke Brown gets to the lead and is going to build a lead, I think you'll find. Second place at the moment, the 88T of Jason Scott. He's got quite a few car lengths over the 67 of Richard Pearce. Then we go back to the 32 of Ian White, who's holding off Jacko in the 71 machine. The 54 of Tomo under pressure from the 10 of Nathan Astle, who... We've gone yellow. I was going to say something wrong with the 10 machine, but that was just because he was backing off because the lights went yellow.
Something has to be on the track, surely. Oh, they're pointing to something over by the pit gate. Oh, yeah, let's see something on the track here. Nothing like something large in metal or small in metal. It's a screwdriver. It is a screwdriver.
So someone, a mechanic who was tuning up the track, left one of the screwdrivers on the track.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If you work pit gate, you have a full collection of 1/4-inch ratchets.
Yeah.
The amount of people that have ratchet belts leave the 1/4-inch ratchet in, and our pit gate staff collect them as the season goes on. You have a full toolbox if only you came with the sockets.
Oh, there you go. So the 5 car, Bailey Patterson, pulls to the infield, remembering he had issues at the end of the previous round where he's not going to take any further part in this race. We're back green and running again. A little bit of loose bodywork on the 88 car. I wonder if that's going to last to the end of the race. But the 3NZ is comfortable enough in the lead, pulling away from Jason Scott, who in turn is pulling away a little bit from the 67. And those top 3 already spread out a little bit round the track. Good battle for 4th. Ian White holding off for now, the 71 of Jacko. The 54 of Steve Thompson closing on the back of them, with the 10 of Nathan Astle really putting the hammer down and trying to get the best out of that car. At the back of the field, it's Cassandra Massey in the 11. Astle goes in very hot into turn 3, gets very snaky and has to back out of the attempted pass. Out front, Brown's just cruising. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to bring that car home in first place. Nothing heroic, nothing spectacular. Just read the track, find the grip. He's keeping it down low. Scott's pushing his car much wider on the track, as is the 67 of Bunter Pearce. The very different contrasting lines between Luke Brown and the two guys chasing him down. But honestly, I don't think Scott or Pearce are able to close on Luke Brown. Brown has got the setup for that tighter part of the track, and he's making it work for him. We have a quick look at the ELS. The gap 2.4 seconds between Brown and Scott. Another 1.6 back to Pearce.
Visually, it looks a lot more, to be fair, Tony.
It does, doesn't it? And really, those first three have cleared out. 32 Ian White has held off the 71 of John Jackson, and he's falling back a little bit. Thompson is still battling with the 10 of Astle. Astle trying to find a way past the Formula 1 NZ, just can't do it. And in fact, those two are holding each other up so much that Cassandra Massey at the back of the field is catching them. We're in the white zone now, just one to go for Luke Brown. Goes through one, comes out of two. That car looks very smooth, very secure. He looks like a man who's totally in charge of the machine, totally in charge of his emotions as he comes out of turn 4 to get the checkered flag. That's a win for Luke Brown. A little bit of a pause. We go back to the second place. Jason Scott, who has raced so much better tonight in his 2 heats than he did last night. And Richard Pearce takes third place.
Yeah, but it's about accruing points. That's probably kept Jason Scott in the cusp of being on that back end, not having to go through the rev charge. The back end of the field, though, Nathan Astle, he never really got the urgency to move forward, did he?
And so the absolute brain of Speedway, Mr. Barry Brown, has already computed all this, and it tells me that as a result of that race result, the 3NZ of Luke Brown is guaranteed a front row start on the final, okay? And the best that the 2NZ McPhee can do is to equal Brown's 44 points and get alongside him. He won't be able to exceed him. Nobody else can beat the 44 that Luke Brown's now accumulated. So interesting statistic, and he's no relation to Barry Brown, apparently. I bet you wish he was, but there you go. Yeah, but there you go.
That certainly is an interesting one, because Luke Brown has been, every time he has showed up here at Coke and Woodford Glen,
he's been on it, absolutely on it.
He's been smooth, but he's also smooth. He's saving his car.
Yeah.
The car's not got body panels flying off it. He hasn't got marks all over his wing. He hasn't got Nerf bars that are all inside out, and he hasn't shredded tyres.
No.
So he is keeping it clean, which may not be the most spectacular way to win a championship, but if you want consistency, that is what you have to do.
You know that the comparison with someone like Chris Cowling is
it's not lost.
It's not lost, really. Seriously, in terms of driving style and technique and approach to winning a championship. Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, there's a few replays coming through on the Pits TV there. A little bit of contact between the 32 and the 67.
Yeah, there was a little bit of contact throughout that race with cars. We saw it particularly in the early stages, because that was a marathon just to get it going.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there may be a few relegations, but not from the front end of the field. I certainly didn't see Luke Brown involved in any of that.
This is the hardest thing, you know. You do all the effort to get in the car, you go out racing, and then you lose those grid positions because you've done something silly. As our stock cars, who were hoping to do something slightly silly, roll on out. And this race brought to us by, as I screed through here, Mr. Whippy. Probably the right weather for it out there, to be fair, isn't it, Ivor?
Yeah, I've just come back upstairs, and it's quite mild out there. It's not too bad at this stage. We've got a good crowd of fans in here for tonight.
Luke Brown, mate. That looked pretty fast out there, winning again.
Yeah, really happy. The track is just gone. It is so slick, low, high, everywhere. So setup's really crucial, and yeah, managed to get it pretty close, and yeah, managed to find a line that works. So I'm not sure how close people were behind me. Wasn't perfect, but definitely a step in the right direction, and yeah, to get a win, bloody awesome.
Yeah, so based on the points, you're going to be coming pretty much off the front for the feature by the looks of it. So well done on that, mate. Best of luck for the rest of the evening.
No, thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, if it's near the front, top 2 rows, we're really stoked, and yeah, keen to get on with the job. So, cheers.
Awesome. Okay.